Now, the Social Democratic Party is usually described as Nigeria's fourth largest political party and espouses an ideology that covers everything from welfareism to social responsibility, youth and women empowerment, down to economic emancipation. Kunle Uthman is the party's governorship candidate in Lagos, and he joins us now to talk about Lagos politics, plans for Lagos State, chances of third force parties like SDP, plans to displace the long-standing APC Tinubu hegemony in Lagos and his emergence as the party's flag bearer, and build up to the 2023 elections. Welcome to Newsday.
Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Sorry, good afternoon.
It's still good either way.
I've not slept since
like
4 a.m. this morning, so I'm still feeling drowsy. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Good afternoon. Well, uneasy lies the head that wears the crown, right? That's what they say. So I'll just get right to it. Now, of course, you saw the outburst of, Bola Tinubu a few days ago. I would say about 2 days now. I'm just wondering if that was more or less an opportunity for parties like yours in terms of positioning yourself to be seen as more palatable or a better option. Situations like that where it was presented that the party's interest was being put before the national interest.
Well, for me, I believe that this should not be about one character, one person within the political landscape. Because ordinarily, and as a fact, Nigeria is bigger than any individual. But now that you have mentioned it, I believe that one of the people who have kept this nation where it is Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Because for me, the politics of godfatherism has not augured well for the progress of this nation. And we are where we are now because we have subjected the social, political welfare of the people of this country to godfatherism. And what does that mean? Somebody sits down somewhere and he says, it is your turn. Whether or not the man is ready, they will keep him there. Now, a party ought to have a manifesto. And that manifesto should serve as a social contract between the party and the government and the people. And in political science, it is supposed to be in the nature of an abstract document whereby the party or the government in power will say, I will do A, B, C, D, E, F. Now, at the completion of the tenure of that government, there will be a checklist. I have promised to do 20 things. I succeeded in doing only 4. That is a failure mark for all over 20. That sort of a government will not be entitled to re-election anywhere. Therefore, we must necessarily, for the development of our nation, eliminate any name whatsoever, whosoever this person may be. What is critical and what I believe is important, we must strive to elect people who have a program, a laudable program that connects with the people, and for which they should move all around the nooks and crannies of their state. If you are aspiring to be governor, you have to go everywhere to sell your manifesto. You must subject yourself to questions by the people, and you must also identify their needs. For example, when you say Lagos State, it's a big state, highly populated, but Lagos is Ibile in the real sense of political planning. Ibile will be an acronym for the island, Badagry, Ikeja, Lagos, Ikorodu, and Ekpe. Now, when you operate within these 5 divisions, what you will observe is the problem of Badagry and the issues in Badagry are totally different from the needs of the people of Ekpe. If you go towards Ikorodu, it's a different problem. So as you navigate yourself through these states, you will find out that there are peculiar problems. Let me take Lagos Island, for example. If you move from Nnamdi Azikiwe to the mosque, Central Mosque, you go further towards Idumota, dovetailing into Ijakara Market. It's a very dirty city. Dirty, squalid, smelly, and toxic. And truly speaking, That ought to be and is described as the central business district of Lagos. It's like a hub whereby you have traders. What do you have? You have traders littering all aspects of the road. You find street traders everywhere. The traffic cannot move. Between that little distance of about 250 meters, you may be there for about 3 to 4 hours because the traffic is not moving. Now, if you go towards Ijankara, there was a market in Ijankara as a child. I used to go there. My mother would send me there to buy things. They demolished this market, this government. And for so many years, they've done nothing with the market. There is no development. It's a demolition. It has become a haven for people who don't have legitimate business. Number 2, sir, you will then see that the Jakarta Road, going straight to Nnamdi Azikiwe, is completely abandoned. It will consume an SUV if you attempt to go through that road. So how do you describe this part of the city as a mega city? This is the result of godfatherism, because you just say this man go there, the man is not prepared, and he does not have a plan. He does not connect with the people. In December, Gerard Road, a 21-story building came crashing down. 21 stories, my dear. And this was a building where people paid foreign exchange, some of them, to buy flats there. Now, what is the tragic aspect of this building? First of all, I was part of the team that prepared policy reform on planning, regulation, and building control in Lagos State. And we submitted a final report to the Attorney General for transition into becoming law during the time of Babatunde Raji Fashola, when he was governor of Lagos State. The committee that prepared this report had as its chairman, General Rees. Now, the vice chairman of this committee, with respect, was Babajide Sanwo-Olu.
If I may come in, Chief Uthman, okay, we've heard about the challenges and, of course, your perspective on the previous administration. But I'd like us to focus on your party as well. You talked about connecting with the people, and still on the Lagos politics. Where is the place of the SDP? Yes, you are ranked number 4, but you hardly hear of your party, even when it comes to a viable opposition to the PDP. And it's coming to election times, the SDP is coming into play. So what is the scenario here?
First of all, I don't know the basis for your ranking. I think it's just a ranking in the air, like everything in this country. You need to give me the scientific basis for this ranking, because I disagree.
All right.
Now, if you are talking about the dominance of the political space by people who have done everything that is wrong, stuffing ballot papers, doing everything to make sure they're in power, maybe you may be right with the first 2, 1, 2, maybe. I don't agree still, but I would then position that we are number 3 within the political landscape. And the set of policies that have been put in place, whereby when I wanted to buy my benches gown, I had to pay 2.4 million naira to purchase 2,600 pounds. You know the price of the dollar today. You know the price of the pounds and foreign exchange. This economy is technically dead. Now, a confirmation by the death of the economy was when the governor of the central bank bought form, or they bought form for him, or he bought form for himself. Immaterial to say he was going to contest the election. This is the only country on earth where the manager of the economy will come out and say, I want to collect form and become the president. You see, and recall, sir, 100 million naira was used by people. They collected form, collected, and at one point they said, no. You see, we have become a joke. This country, the way we play our politics is a joke. And until we believe that it is our duty by providence to correct this joke, this aberration, you don't do this anywhere in the world. We need to look at the future of this country. It's no longer party. Party is completely irrelevant. What is party? Yeah, the party is supposed to be a collection of people who have come together, articulate a policy, and then give it to electorate for them to determine the future of the nation, or the state as it were, or the world as it were. But the government at all levels Not only Lagos State in particular, federal, they have failed the people.
How will your party
will
mount
no
a challenge on either the PDP or the APC that you've brazenly talked about? How will they mount that challenge?
I am so glad you asked this question. You see, prior to now, you just had people voting and voting. You hear somebody was being chased, he carried ballot paper, somebody stuffed ballot paper, and the ballot boxes. So when the result comes, it never reflected the wishes of the people or the votes that were cast in election. But INEC, in his wisdom, have devised the PVC. The PVC now shows that you must cast the votes. It's no longer numbers now. It's people who have legitimately registered and they have a database and will contest the election. Here lies the beauty of the change that is about to take place. Also remember, there are people who vote in this election who could not vote 4 years ago. The 14-year-old person has become 18. So you have that bandwagon of people who are collecting PVC. When I went to the INEC office some time ago, if you had 200 people there, they were calling me Baba. Because I was Baba within the context of people that were there. Some people had sat down there for 4 hours, for 5 hours, and they were young people. They wanted to collect their PVC. So the change we are striving to give to this state, it's not abstract. It's real. We are saying that the young people in this country must be given a chance. The women must be given a chance. How are we in 2022 and we say a woman cannot rule? What does that mean? What does that mean? Angela Merkel in Germany, woman. Do you understand? The young people cannot vote. How old was the Frenchman when he became president? So you see, how long was Obama himself when he became president? So you see, we have to change the narrative. We need to appreciate the fact that to be young is not a minus. Actually, it is a plus. Because I was in government when I was 33, in the federal government. I still remained in government when I was 37. How old was Yakubu Gowon, general, when he became head of state of Nigeria? You see, we need to respect industry. We also need to appreciate that it can no longer be business as usual. Majority of our young people are unemployed. They need to work. Majority of our women can make a difference. Go to the universities, go and sit for exams. At the end of the day, most of us, the men, were distracted by other things I don't want to mention on air.
So what would you do to change the current narrative?
Create jobs. Job creation for young people. Dynamic job. Create plantations. Let them work. Let them take charge of their affairs. Let them give us their business plan. We will support the business plan. We will ensure that we get them employed, as many of them as possible. Because the problem of this state and this nation is unemployment of the young people. The man sees that, actually is a collapse of the educational system of government. I told my son once he annoyed me, he said, look, my friend, if I deal with you, the money I pay in your school for one time, if my father had kept receipts from when I started school and came out of school, I would not pay for one time. And there are many people that suffer the sickness of that. Go to all these private schools. I went to my school, Unity Primary School in Ikoyi, just a walking distance. It was as if that school had been frozen for the last 50 years. I attended the Methodist Boys High School, Lagos. The philosophy of our school, the motto is non-CB said Alice. I attended the University of Benin. So many of us went into this university. I never ever schooled abroad, except when I had opportunities to go and do courses there, to go for bar conferences or to go and do other things. How did we allow our educational system to collapse? 7 months. The lecturers are they're at home. ASU is negotiating. The man who couldn't resolve the ASU problem went to collect 100,000 naira for the Minister of Labour. The education man also collected 100 million naira for, and ASU is at home. It shows that the people are not, our government, they don't love us.
All right, on that note, unfortunately, we've come to the very end of this segment. Chief Kunle Uthman is the SDP Lagos governorship candidate, and of course, he's a barrister and solicitor. We'd like to thank you for coming to the show. It's good to have you with us.